So a problem that arose during the 30-degree heat a few weeks back is the cold air and hot air changer on this, just like the KA, died. Now it's a little bit of a different problem on this one because it was the heat exchange valve, well, control valve on the KA, and if you go back in the channel you'll see how to swap one of them out. And that was more of the physical mechanical side of the hot water stopping and starting to go through the system, to go through the blower to enter the cabin. Now what's happened here is it's mechanics again, but it's a cable which is driven by, and I'll show you all of this because I've got the perfect example for you, but as you can see, and potentially here, is this does nothing, and there was like a bit of a snapping sound. It was really tight to use for a long while, but I just thought that was the quality of German engineering. But it's definitely given way, and it actually is just stuck on cold now, which could be worse because like, it's better than being stuck on hot, which the KA was. But to replace this bit, now the sticking point is going to be this bit, which hopefully comes off the old unit. But the mad thing is that Amazon sell these for, I think, £18. So I'm going to show you what I've received from them, which I'm fairly impressed by. And it looks like you get to retain the front plate, everything's fine. This and all the gubbins behind are what's going to get swapped out. But I don't see this on the new one, so hopefully that comes off and I can replace it onto the new set. But we'll see. But first of all, I'm going to remove this one and this one and this one and this one, all Phillips, and this plate's going to come off. Then we're going to prise this away, leaving this behind, which lets us remove this. And then we'll get on with the new version to go inside. But I'll show you that first because I'm quite impressed by it. Is this? So it's the entire unit with all the mechanical gubbins. There's no electricals involved because that'll all plug in from what's already in the van because all the electrics work. But you'll see a lot of mechanism here. If I turn that in the middle, you can see that arm that moves, which pulls a physical cable inside the van. Now I imagine that arm there has snapped and let go of the cable. So this is going to replace it, and like you can see how everything else works. Like that's the speed selection, yep. And then this one here is the selector for inside the cabin, outside the cabin, I don't know, legs, windscreen and all that. And you can see how everything works, which is pretty cool, I'd say. Now, this is obviously knackered, so we're going to crack it open and see what the problem really is, and then see if this is our answer. But again, that button that stops it, you know, like the cabin button to keep the air inside, that isn't here, is it?
This land is your land, and this land is my land, and the California.
How you doing, Albert?
Oh, tell you.
So, not too bad.
Is that yours?
Yeah. Pain in the arse.
Is it?
It is. It's only the brakes, but it's been the problem since I bought it. So now I'm down to the master cylinder and stripping that out and waiting for the new bit to come. And hopefully.
Because my mate tells you then.
Hmm.
He's only, do you know Paul? Paul at all?
No, is he not at Leases, is he?
Nah, crikey no.
Right.
Nah, he's got about 3 or 4 days. Fucking. But he's shit up with them.
Okay.
Shit up with them. See, if you've got a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if this doesn't work, I'm going to need help because basically I've had spongy brakes since I got it. So they grip eventually, but I think it's the master that's been letting air through or whatever. So
I mean, look, I can give you his number. He's shit up that, I think.
Go on then, yes. Well, that was nice. I don't know if you caught the end of the start of the conversation there, but there's a local guy who's rented one of the garages around here. Very interested in the Morris. He's seen it knocking about. We've just had a nice little chin waggle about it, and he's got an old Mini at a garage down the road. A bloke called Paul who's done a bit of work for me in the past, and he actually did the bearings on this van. And yeah, he's telling me all about how Paul's a mastermind when it comes to Morris miners. So if I've got any problems, I should take it to him, which is fantastic. So we started it up, we had a nice look at it. We tried to get in his garage and the door doesn't open anymore. So we were going to look at his bikes, but never mind. But yeah, he's got like a nice Mini, a 38-year-old one. So it's nearly historic and free to drive around, but he's just waiting off. But he's had it resprayed, completely welded. It looks bloody awesome. But yeah, what a guy. And he had a Ford Focus there, a 2011 plate with 288,000 on the clock. But bless him, what a guy. Cracking on with the job then. Nice one. Pretty funny, like studio speakers, jab away that comes, fantastic. It looks like I can just get my hand under here and push the fascia away. There we go. And away that comes. So hopefully we get to keep the Hugo logo. And now we can see the heater module in there and we'll see if this comes away. But we've got some electrics here to unplug and we'll have a look at what we win. But that still looking very loose, and yeah, nothing moves in the back there, so problem confirmed. Yeah, all of this has got to come out and then we'll see what we've got to play with when it comes to removing this. So it's just another 4 Phillips, which we like.
The trees, they do grow high, and the leaves, they are so green. The time is fast and gone.
Now, do you want to come away? Bit of jangling, and she's out. So just so you know, it's worth, so the module's in there, you want to take it underneath. And then it can come out of that gap under there, so then we can actually see what's going on. Now, we want to keep an eye on where everything's connected to and where these cables are coming from. So let's have a goosey, and I'm going to take some photos so we know what we're doing when we head back. There we go, there's everything. There's a cable running there to control that. This one is snapped away. And this one is an electric selector. So I'm going to unplug all the electrics and then go from there. Exciting. So another one just for our reference later. The red and white goes to the middle cog. The green and red goes to the top one. And the yellow and white goes to the underneath one, right? And we can see the culprit here. This arm is snapped. So when this gets turned, nothing happens. So that's all we're working with. But now I just need to try and remove all these little springies off these arms, which doesn't look like the easiest thing, but we'll try. And we've got some retaining clips which are coming off, there was one here and it's there now. And I'm also going to take this one off. There we go. 2 of them. And now that can come away. So that's the one for that arm, and there's the snapped arm just there. So that's a shame, but we're well on our way to fixing it. It looks like this underneath unit will come away and clip to the new one underneath with any luck. If not, it can just stay separate and be a little bit wobbly, but we'll see. So a little bit of compare and contrast. There's the new one, there's the old one. You can see how they've stuck to the actual design there, which is cool. Yeah, so very similar. This is upside down on the new one, but hopefully that doesn't change anything. You're just going to turn the cables around a bit. We've got the 3 cables all released. There's one, and there's the other 2. So let's have a goosey. Oh man, there's an old Bluetooth, what's that, a kit for an old phone system, like a Motorola thing. That's all been chopped in the past. I think that's to do with this, like an old hands-free. So yeah, pretty cool. What's that? Not the aerial thing. Right, so onto the rebuild, where I'm going to try and remove this bottom bit and stick it on there. So we'll see how that goes. So just so you know what I'm working with, I think these white clips, as you can see just there, and there's another one just here, I think they're going to release it from the top, because it does look like, looking underneath, that this has those slots available to slide it back in, which is good news, because that had its own electric control as well, so it'll all work out, surely. So that's my thinking. I'm going to try and prise that away, and I won't be able to film it because that's a pain, but I'll try my best to let you know how that's done. So much easier than planned. It's like the whole thing, so that's the front, push the whole white thing forward and it comes away. So it was just on like a slider clip, which you can see there. So it'll just slide off because of that L shape. There we go, that's the new unit. There's the old button, and that should just, you see how there's these little holes there. I'm imagining they slip on and then you push back. There we go. So that just slid on, and hopefully that makes sense. It's got its own power there. So Gonna stick it all back in and try and get those springs in the right place, which was easy. It was just a case of kind of getting the straight end of the spring under there, and then you could hook it out. It just fell apart. You'd figure it out if you were doing it, but yeah, so far so good. Let's see if it works. So there's the first one, and you can see how that arm just sits behind that metal bit. Can I get some focus? Too close. There you go. So it's going to spin around a bit more once I've pushed it back in, because that's pulling on with quite a lot of force. So I don't want that to ping out. So I'm going to set it inside there and then put the other two back where they need to be. It's one of those kind of unexplainably easy things to do. The only thing to bear in mind, if these retaining clips, it's the round end into this side first, because the round does actually sheath the cable. To me, it felt like it was going to go the other way, so I spent a good while trying to get them on to no avail. But these are completely locked in now and keeping that in place. So 30-second job getting all the electrics plugged in. You can't go wrong because they can only plug into certain things. So that should be everything running. I'm going to just get it all in place, just so it's assembled for me to worry about it later if this doesn't work. But that's everything in. I'm going to tidy it up. I'm not going to test it before I tie things up, because I'm a child and I like to tempt fate. So, bit of a fiddle getting the fascia back on, but basically get the top in first, really slam it down and wait for the clicks, because there's a load of brackets just above and the bottom of these themselves, which you can see on the old unit here. Those little plastic see-throughies and like all these on the top. That's what's going to be doing the gripping. So just wait for the click. I'm actually coming across a bodge that has happened on this one. So this is the old unit. You can see how there's a snapped bit of plastic here. Well, that's because they must not have had a retaining clip either. And the best way to stop the sheath of this cable, so that one that moves at the bottom, was to just snap this plastic away, and then that stopped the sheathing getting stuck. But I've pulled it right over, so I am getting 4 versions, and it seems to be okay. And like the worst case scenario is dipping underneath here still, which I will put the cover back on because it seems to be working, and just freeing the sheathing. But I might snap that away on purpose too if this becomes a problem. This has plenty of tension now, so that's definitely pulling a cable. Like undoubtedly that works. But I might lubricate that one, because it is quite a pull. So I'm not surprised this one snapped, because it's quite a lot of tension. It's still completely nice, but there's a lot of tension right down by cold. But I mean, it works, so that's a start. We'll see if it actually translates to hot and cold. And this clipper all works fine, and this works fine. So now time to actually test the electrics and if it actually works. So let's start. We have power there, so that works. We have air. We have double air. We have triple air. We have full air. Whether that's actually doing anything, I'm not sure, but oh, there we go. There's the unmistakable flip of the thing down there, which turns this into cabin only. So that's great. Yeah, you can hear that. Ready? That's working great. Seems to be working fine. Yeah, we're getting everything. Okay. Brilliant. So will we get warm is the question. It's going to take a little while for that to come through. Certainly feels warm. Now, a little fact for you, the volkSWAGens back in the day, these don't go hot. They were all about keeping the driver awake. So these remain cold at all times to stop you getting too warm. The German's very clever with that. Now I think I feel some heat coming through there. Excellent. And obviously, I'm going to say yes. But ideally, we'll go and take the van for a run. But I'm just going to reverse it up and down a little bit. Let's get the engine warmed up. Oh, we're definitely getting heat. For sure. It looks nice. So, spin around. Let's see if we're getting some cold. So 100% confirmation on heat. Now, the final test. There's the cabin again, you can hear the difference there. And that's back off, and now we're going back to cold. Oh, is it going to work? That feels promising. Yep. Excellent. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Brilliant. So that's that. Thanks for joining me. Only time will tell how well the Amazon edition of this is the original Volkswagen one. So it's done a good 30 years work. As you can see, it's the Volkswagen Audi just there. So time will tell how long these newer Chinese versions do. But I mean, 30 years of work did that to, it is some kind of aluminium-y shitty metal. Probably looks a bit like die-cast pewter kind of thing. I'm not too sure what that is. But yeah, it broke away. They're not the strongest, but now we do have a bunch of spares, which is fantastic. I mean, you could peel these knobs away and replace them for the originals as well and just keep the innards, but I'm going to see how it all goes. I'm going to see if they discolor, if they snap. But for now, cool. Job done. Thanks for joining. I'm a Brummy Wonders. I hope you learned something there. I will put the description, I will put the item in the description that I bought from Amazon, because it turns out you can fix your 30-year-old vans with parts from Jeff Bezos, which is surprising because he wants us off the roads too, no doubt. So fantastic. Job done. Thanks for coming. Brummy Wonders, Volkswagen T4 1.9, TD, ABL, everything works for that. Will your T4 work? Probably. But there's actually a reg check on Amazon now too, which is perfect. And it's just started raining, so I'm going to buy some cans as a self-congratulations and enjoy my evening. Thanks for watching. I'm really appreciating the interaction in the comments. Thank you everyone who's giving me tips and hints and everything else. It's priceless. And yeah, I'll thank you all personally one day. But excellent. I hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next one.
England, oh my England. From London sprawl to the Mersey's flow, Manchester spirit, Birmingham's beat.